Hello again from my front porch. It is a blustery day here in Iowa. You might even be able to hear some of it going on. I wrapped up, what was it, 10, 11 days that I wasn't actually here at home. It was quite a time and an adventure. Did a whole lot of stuff happened that I might circle back on and follow up with some of that. But it's just good to be back home. Hold on. It looks like I hate it when my screen looks fuzzy like that. Hold on. Let me just clean this off here. All right. Let's see. Is that better? That's better. Is that better? Yeah, that's better. Yeah, I don't look anywhere near as fuzzy. Picture looks so much better. All right. Well, as I was saying, it's been a blustery day here in Iowa. The wind is really going at it, but there's no snow and the temperature is kind of mild. Apparently, it got really cold here while I was gone. Hate to have missed that. But I was down in Alabama and even Florida, and it was not exactly a heat front down there for at least most of the time that I was there. So yeah, I got to suffer with the people in Alabama. Granted, for them, cold weather temperatures suffering still pretty warm for here in Iowa. But speaking of things that are just not the same, or things that matter to some people, not as much to others. I know it's a little odd segue, but apparently today is a, hold on, I saved some memes, some information that I saw online. Apparently today is a big day. Today is the Americans to Boycott Economy Day, February 28th, 2025. Now, what's interesting is this, the emphasis here is American consumers to refrain from making purchases at major retailers. Being advised, I hear Al Sharpton, be advised, this is the first step to counter the attack on diversity, equity, and inclusion. That's what he says. Don't make any purchases. Do not shop online or in store. No Amazon, no Walmart, no Best Buy, no McDonald's or other fast food stores. No gas, no major retailers. Do not use credit or debit cards for non-essential spending. Try to buy all you need before the 28th, and if necessary, only buy essentials of absolute necessary items such as food, medicine, emergency supplies. If you must spend, only support small local businesses. Then it goes into why this matters. Corporations and banks only care about their bottom line. Disrupting the economy for even one day sends a powerful message. If they don't listen, we make the next blackout longer. Our numbers are powerful. This is how we make history. Hold on. Let me read more here. February 28th, Economic Blackout Day. We take collective action to show our economic power for 24 days. Do not spend at major retailers, Amazon, Walmart, Target, fast food chains, or gas stations. Why it matters. Big corporations and politicians only listen to money. A one-day economic blackout sends a clear message. We hold the power. If they don't listen, we make the blackout longer. Okay? So there's that. And then let's see, I think I had one other one. Here's another one. This one's from Robert Reich, who was Secretary of Labor ages ago, but still thinks he's relevant. I don't personally agree with almost anything the man says. He's a wackadoodle as far as I'm concerned. He is as extreme crazy as it gets, and yet there are a lot of people who still like him and link onto it, but okay. But he says, no Amazon, no Walmart, no Target, no Disney, no Google, no Apple, no Visa or MasterCard, and especially no Facebook. Oops. Well, I guess I'm violating that one because here I am recording this and I'm going to post it today. Oh well. But I don't really care because I'm not supporting this boycott. I don't support any boycott, actually. And I'll tell you why. Most boycotts don't work, and if they do work, they have the exact opposite impact of what the organizers claimed they were doing. Boycotts tend to be more about whoever is promoting it, milking it for attention, than it is what the actual impact of the boycott will be. You see, it doesn't even matter whether the boycott shows a noticeable impact on the economy today. All this coverage. I mean, those are memes, but they're being shared by media entities, and they're all over social media, and that's just a handful of the ones that I came across. But they've got their 15 minutes of fame, if you will. They got their spotlight. They've received the coverage they wanted. The economic impact doesn't really actually matter. But now let's pause for a moment and say, what if there was economic impact? What if there are enough people who actually do this? Because I'm going to guarantee you there are a whole lot of people that shared those memes that are still out buying gas today. They're still out getting their fast food. They're using their Visa and charge card. They're still ordering from Amazon. They're sharing this stuff, and they're down with the man, and they're still doing this. I defy you to prove me wrong. Oh, there are people who are doing it and taking it seriously. I don't question that. I'm just saying there are a whole lot of hypocrites who are sharing that and not following it. That's all I'm saying. Because that's human nature. People are who people are. We think when nobody is seeing what we're doing ourselves, publicly, and then privately, maybe, that's unfortunately where we are as a society. But let's say that there is enough impact that it shows a noticeable drop in things, has an effect on these businesses, a negative one. Well, let's just think for a minute what that means. Because supposedly this is, and the memes I read have a little bit of consistency. The people sharing them had no consistency, as they would add their own little pontificating onto what went out, and they would say this is about going against Trump. This is about going against Musk. This is about going against DEI stuff, changes like the Reverend Sharpton said in his. This is about going at the changes that are being made at the national level, changes being made at the local level, the state level. This is about, they're all over the map, meaning there is no clear direction for this day of protest. We're just against. Against what? Well, we don't know, but we're against. Now, see, that's laughable. That totally undermines the impact and the effectiveness of the action. You have to have a very clear, specific reason why you're doing what you're doing, and you have to clearly target it. But when you're going after everybody from Amazon to Walmart to McDonald's to gas stations to fast food to don't use your credit cards, that is so all over the map. What is it we're actually trying to do? We're trying to hurt the economy for a day. Now think about that for a minute. We want to encourage people to actually hurt and then there is what could be construed as a domestic terrorist threat. Honestly, if this doesn't hurt the economy and if this doesn't get the attention, then the next one will be even longer. Yeah, you do what we say or we'll bring you to your knees economically. Okay. Who actually suffers? Well, the stockholders, the CEOs. No. Maybe eventually. But you drive business away from Walmart. You shut down business at a fast food place. You make it so people aren't going to gas station to buy their, which that's not even realistic. That's not, people need the gas to go to work and stuff. But you manage to inflict negative sales at these big corporate institutions. The people you're punishing are the people working at that institution. When I go to my McDonald's, which I don't do very often, but any fast food place, any chain restaurant, let's just say that. If I go to any chain restaurant locally here, it's not national corporate people who are waiting on me. It's not national corporate people who are back in the kitchen preparing my meal. If I go to my local Walmart or Target, it's not corporate national people who are stocking the shelves, who are putting things, cleaning up things around the aisle. If I go through a checkout that's not self-service as a cashier, it's not a corporate national person who is cashiering. If I go to any of these large corporation things, even Amazon, if I order something from Amazon, it gets delivered to my house. And do you know who's delivering it? Not corporate national Amazon people. All of these people are local people, neighbors, friends, people who work at these places as a good source of money to support their family, to provide for their needs. And if I try to convince people to stop frequenting a business, to just stop, boycott this business, run their sales into the ground, the first group that I am hurting are the local people who work there, who depend on that paycheck. Now that's just stupid. I mean, I'm sorry. I don't mean to be insulting. Maybe I do mean to be a little insulting, because we get this idea, well, I'm going to punish the billionaire. Well, maybe if it's a big enough impact, the billionaire will take notice. But if he's a billionaire or she's a billionaire, they can afford to suffer that loss with negligible impact to them. But that local person working, they can't. They can't absorb that loss. It's a huge impact on them. It hurts. And we sit back and we pat ourselves in the back because we caused that. Really? I just can't do that. But like I said, I also don't buy into boycotts because they rarely ever work. I mean, you can point to things like, well, remember when Budweiser had a transgender spokesperson? Yeah, and that spokesperson. I thought that was a weird choice, not because they were transgender, but because the transgender person they picked was just a nut. I mean, was just, woo! The stuff that she posted online was, and still is, just like, I'm obviously not the target demographic, because it has nothing to do with her being transgender. It has to do with, it's just silly stuff. Not even like funny silly. Just like, are you on an acid trip silly? It's like, so I couldn't understand why Budweiser chose that person to be their spokesperson, but there were a lot of people who were upset about because she was transgender. And there was a boycott on that, and to some extent, Budweiser is still recovering from that. So sometimes the boycotts work, but in that case, that wasn't even just a one-day boycott. That was like a total product boycott. And when you're talking about beer, there's so many other options out there, an ocean of other options out there. It's pretty easy to replace that very, very quickly. Talk about something like Amazon, it's not quite as easy to replace that. Amazon has really set itself up to have a bit of monopoly on that type of thing. Oh, you can order from other vendors online, even places like Walmart and so like, but you're right back to the corporate big entity that supposedly we're supposed to be boycotting today. Well, that's why you're supposed to go shop local. It's a good plan. I believe in shopping local. I believe in supporting local restaurants, local businesses. I believe that very strongly. But the reality is, a lot of times they don't have what you want. They can order it and get it in for you, but if you need it right now, that's not going to work. If I need a tool for something I'm working on at home, I can maybe go to Walmart and get a cheap version of the tool. I can run to my Ace Hardware, and I could get. Oh wait, hold on. Ace Hardware is a chain. Who's my local provider where I could go buy that tool? Some places may have a still local mom and pop hardware shop, and if so, that's great. Make sure you frequent it. Keep it in business. But the idea that we can just get rid of big businesses and local mom and shop, get everything we want, and not impact the economic livelihood of our friends and neighbors is absurd. But again, the Budweiser one, okay, the Bud Light, yeah, there's a boycott and it worked. But then I also think of things like Chick-fil-A. Remember there was the big stink many years ago about how the top leadership of Chick-fil-A had donated to what was deemed an anti-gay group, anti-gay rights group, or I don't know, was it someone group that was deprogramming gay people? I honestly I don't remember the specific. I just know there was a lot of hoopla around the fact that Chick-fil-A was branded as an anti-gay organization, and so we're going to protest by we're designated this day to boycott Chick-fil-A, and it had the exact opposite effect. I mean, Chick-fil-A sales blew through the roof that day. The lines at every Chick-fil-A were. I was married at the time. My wife and I, we were out at Jordan Creek Mall here in Des Moines, where there was Chick-fil-A in the food court, and the line at that food court for the Chick-fil-A at the food court strung all the way around that food court and out the food court. It's just absurd line, and yet that's because we're supposed to boycott Chick-fil-A to make a point, and well, the opposite point got made. We can turn the clock even farther back. There was a movie out many years ago called The Last Temptation of Christ. And honestly, I haven't seen the movie. I have no desire to see the movie because I know that the fundamental premise of the movie is that Jesus and Mary Magdalene were a romantically inclined couple. and it undermines a lot of the what we know about Jesus and who he was and how he lived his life. It not just humanizes him, it corrupts him in many respects. So, because of that, the religious community, especially the conservative, more evangelical religious community, really had a problem with that movie. And so they organized protests. And I mean, they organized picketing outside of the theaters showing it. They wanted to just make a point. And you know what they wound up doing? They wound up increasing the sales of tickets to the movie because there were a whole bunch of people that had actually ignored the movie was even coming out, didn't really care until it was shoved in our face every day because of the picketing. And then, of course, the people who were picketing were there out of passion, not out of logic. And so when they get interviewed by the news media, they would say the stupidest, emotion-driven stuff that would cause the viewer to go, ew, well, I could avoid the movie and align myself with fools like this person, or I could show that I'm not aligned with this person and go see the movie. And as a result, again, ticket sales went way up thanks to all the free publicity that the religious community gave to the movie they were trying to tell people to not go see. Boycotts are, I'm not a fan. And it has nothing to do with whether I support the politics of the organization or the people at the top or the politics of people in D.C. or in the state capitol. Or not. It's nothing to do with that. I just don't think boycotts make sense. I just don't. And certainly the thing that's going on today is a joke. It is laughable. And I say that because, as I said before, it has no focus. It has no purpose. Different people are laying claim to it and trying to attach their area of focus, saying, hey, if you do this, this is what you're saying. And somebody else says, no, if you do it, this is what you're saying. And they'll all say, oh, it's all of that. And so boycott everything. Just, basically stop living your life today. And then we'll teach all the... At the end of the day, the billionaires won't care. At the end of the day, even the millionaires won't care. The people who will care are the people who maybe get sent home early because no customers are coming in to frequent the business where they need their paycheck from. And as a result, that worker will see less income. Well, they shouldn't be working for that entity. They shouldn't be working for a leader like that. They should be working for a local place. Local places don't do enough business to employ all those individuals, and they can't pay what some of these national corporations can pay. Who are you to sit in judgment over your neighbor or your friend who takes a job because it's the kind of money they need to pay the bills? Who are you to judge them for that? Boycotts bring out a darker side of me, I guess, because I think it is utter foolishness. It is so misdirected. I'm going to shake my fist at that person at the top and completely ignore the damage I'm doing to the person right next to me. That is absolute ignorance on a massive scale. And I just don't understand why people don't see that. Well, anyway, I had to get that off my chest. Oh. And yeah, the wind is blowing real strong. The wind is shaking here. I know if you heard it a couple of times. And with any luck, this little boycott thing today will blow over just as quickly. Yeah, I agree. All right, well, I'm enjoying being back home. Now I need to get back to work in my home office because it is Friday. I am at work. Well, actually first, I may slip out and do some shopping. Maybe stop for some fast food. I don't usually do that, but today might be a good day. Yeah, it's a good plan. And with that, I'll let y'all go, and I'll see you next time from my front porch.